Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we introduce to you the Creative Minds Podcast.
Oh, we already are?
Hey. All right, so we're so excited to see each and every one of you guys here. Alan's is tripping. Alan right now is tripping. Alan's like, this is too cool.
We are live.
Calm down, drummer. Calm down. Come on, can we get a round of applause? I love it. But seriously, though, welcome to the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Omar.
Hi, I'm Monica.
And this is Alex.
And you're watching the third episode of the Creative Minds Podcast.
Yes, sir.
That's break.
Hey.
Wow. I feel good. All right. So we just found out that what we've been using for the last 3 episodes actually comes with some pretty cool sound effects. So we said, screw it, let's start using them. We're super excited to have a special guest today with us called Alan Lopez is his name. The one, the only Alan Lopez. We're so excited to have him. Thank you so much for being with us today. Being that it is our 3rd episode today, we have a very special topic to talk about, and we couldn't think of a better person to have here with us today. Our topic for today is called Pursuing Your Passion. And, you know, I think that for a lot of creative people, it's something that is definitely a bunch of highs and lows when we start talking about pursuing your passions, just because I think everybody has a dream. Everybody has something that they're trying to look forward to move into. And what ends up happening is sometimes it's looking great. Sometimes it's looking terrible, and it just ends up going into that, what do I do? Do I keep pursuing my passion? Do I just let it go? Do I just give up on that dream and start going to the 9-to-5 job that I just have no other choice but to take? And so as we were talking about this theme as a team, that's so funny. This theme as a team.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, the tongue twister.
It was
theme
all
as a
a
team.
dream.
It was all a dream. The theme as a team. But,
Go ahead. Get it out.
Gotta get it out of the system. So the theme as a team was pursuing your passion, right? And so we really just thought, who is somebody that has that we've met recently, that we've kind of gotten to know and has really pursued their passion. And so I think you and I have known each other for going on 2 years, I think.
Almost 2 years in September.
Almost 2 years in September that we've met, and we couldn't think of a better person. Everybody that's gotten to know you, they're just like, man, this is the guy to talk about pursuing your passion.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
And so we're super excited because for those of you who don't know him by just seeing his face, this is actually the drummer for Grupo La Mafia. They're a band actually based here in Houston, Texas, which we're super proud of. They're a Tejano band. They've been around for years. We definitely are putting them in the category of legendary.
Yes.
For sure.
And Alan just so happens to be playing for them. How long have you been playing for them now?
July 30th is 1 year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, middle this month.
Yeah, it's less than a
That's
year
so
now.
cool.
That's crazy. You ready for that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah? 1 year anniversary playing for La Mafia.
Woo.
Actually, I think the 29th, we got a show in Zacatecas, so that's going to be like my anniversary.
Yeah.
Your
I'm
anniversary
excited.
celebration.
Yes, yeah, I'm excited for that. And it's super crazy seeing how my life changed like in a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be fun to talk about.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I can't wait to hear it. I've already heard your story, and I want to hear it again. Like, it is so inspirational.
I can bet you're going to cry.
What?
You may make me cry.
I already
may
know
make me
you.
cry.
You're gonna-
He's like, I came here to make
You're-
you cry.
Today I'm
No,
gonna make
he's legit saying you're a crybaby.
That too. Well, they were like that too. Well, we're super excited to hear your story, but why don't we start off before we go into like actually getting hired from La Mafia a year ago? Let's start off with just a background, right? Like speaking about pursuing your passions, right? What was it that led you to actually just move into music, move into drums? Like, was there a relative that was involved that said, hey, they did music, and when you were a kid, you're like, I want to start doing that too? Was it just a parent that was like, man, I feel like he likes this. Let me just start, putting
him
into
in-
that, that effort and trying to get him to come out and
Lessons
work
and
hard
all
for
that.
it. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, you guys, for inviting me. I'm super happy to be here. And this is my first time doing a podcast completely in English. So,
Hey.
Wait, hold that thought.
hey.
English speakers, stand up.
I'm very excited for it, and I'm kind of nervous, but if I don't know how to say a word, I'm gonna pochar. I'm gonna put like I wanna speak Spanglish.
Yeah,
So.
and
That
then
works.
we'll just do this.
No.
Parquear.
You know
Parquear.
what? If you push that too much, we're gonna take it away from you. Ah.
I'm starting to lose my
Okay,
privileges.
kid.
No,
give it
no,
to me.
right?
Give it to me. Give it to me.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I like that we found that out on that. That's
No,
really
for
cool.
sure.
Okay, everything started when I was like 4 years old.
Dang, 4.
Yeah. So I never had like the question of, oh, what I'm gonna do when I like being out or whatever. I always knew it was going to be music.
Wow.
So my mom said that when we were in church, I was taking like a toy guitar and going to the first row and like do it like I was playing.
So awesome.
And she was like, no, come here. Like, you need to come back to our row. And the pastor saw her and said, like, no, let him go.
Yes.
Like, he's like worshiping God like with his instrument.
Right.
And the drums was the closest instrument to the first row. So I was just watching a lot like the drummer, and they were going to do like in Mexico, like Child's Day, like Kids Day or
Oh, yeah,
whatever. Is
April 30th, Día de los Niños.
Día del Niño, yeah.
Oh, del niño, my bad.
Yeah, no, don't worry. So they were going to do a service, but everything was going to be made by kids. Like a kid, it was going to preach. A kid, all the kids were going to sing, going to play, whatever. So they didn't have a drummer. So the actual drummer of the church, he asked me like, "Hey, do you want to be the drummer of like the service?" I was just like, "Okay." So on Christmas Day, my parents gave me a drum kit. So it wasn't like a toy one, but it wasn't professional. It was something in between. Yeah. But it was very cool.
Yeah.
So literally, I learned there, and they the guy from the drummer from the church, he prepared me to play the service. So in my Instagram, I got the video of me playing when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And I played 2 songs of Marcos Witt.
That is
Oh,
awesome.
really? What songs were they? Do you know what 2 songs they were?
The first one is En ti está mi vida.
Oh, yeah.
Na, na. I don't remember the other one, but I think that's the one that I remember the most.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that I started like
awesome.
playing drums. And after that, there were like kids at the same church going studying classical music in a very good school in Monterrey, which is one of the best schools of music, classical music, in all Mexico.
Wow.
Okay.
And the mother of those kids, she told to my mom like, "Hey, you should like put Alan in like that school," and she didn't want to. I don't know why. So when I was like,
gonna hate, bro.
Yeah, like-
Haters gonna hate.
No, the mom was like, I can't do that. I can't take him and bring him.
They hate us because they ain't us.
This guy.
wow. So yeah, and she didn't want to, and for years and years, like I was just asking to my mom, like, please, like, let me go to school. She was like, no, and she put me into the basketball team
Instead of music.
Yeah, so I played like 2 years basketball.
Were you any good or?
Yeah,
I was about to
bro.
say.
Whoa, I remember I became the champion of like the state.
That's the running got a triple double.
What?
But here's the thing, my best friend Abraham, que le mando un saludo, he's super tall.
Okay.
So it was super fun because I was super fast,
Yeah.
and he was the one like running.
Oh, so
and,
he was the
like,
center.
Yeah. So we were very
Kobe.
good.
The other guy was Shaq.
Yeah, Kobe and Shaq over here.
Kobe and
Okay.
Shaq.
But Mexicans.
Yeah. It was just so. Just put a little clip on the video. Shaq and Kobe, alley-oop.
El Kobe y el Brian.
Yeah. Kobe.
El Kobe
Y el Chuck.
y el Chuck. Yeah. So and I never quit. Like I always was saying to my mom, like, hey, please, I wanna like learn how to play music and drums and whatever. So at the end, when I was 8, she went to the school and she asked about like the requirements, and I did the audition, and I couldn't make it. They didn't accept me.
Wow.
They didn't accept you?
Here's the
I
thing.
love stories like this.
Yeah, it's
Keep
super fun.
going. Yes.
Here's the thing, because at the beginning, of course, it's classical music, so everyone knows like a little bit of music. I just knew how to play drums.
Okay. Got it.
So like literally, I went again and I tried to talk with someone, and my mom was like, no. So I literally beg to my mom, like, please go and talk with the director of the school. She was like, no, what I'm gonna say, like, hey, hello, my son is Alan, please, like, let him go in.
You have to let him do it.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. And literally, I remember that I prayed, and I was just like, please, like, God, make that my mom goes to talk with the director and whatever. And she said that she felt something in her heart, and she went. Dang. And she talked with the director, and the director saw my grades, and he was like, okay, so in rhythm he's very good, but he's not that good in like theory, but he's going to play percussion, so yeah, I'm gonna let him do the next test. And I did the second test. It was like playing, which I knew how to play, and I was accepted. So it was there where I started to study music.
Dang. So
I love that. Yes, I love that because you were persistent, and someone else could have like given up right there at that moment, but you were like, no, I'm gonna keep knocking on my mom's door. Yeah. And the door opened.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stories like that. Like, I don't know if it's time to talk about it, but like when I was studying classical music in college, I thought my college, it was going to be the same school, because it's a lot of years. It's like 4 years, like middle school, like music, and then 8 years of college. Yeah, but here's the thing: a lot of people study 2 college like degrees. Right. So like the music one, which is like a real degree, and another one, like, I don't know, engineer or like whatever. And one day they called me because someone needed to like someone to cover a rehearsal, not even a concert, just a rehearsal.
Okay.
And that guy, he studied in the same school that I was studying music, and he was like, "Hey, can you cover me?" And I was just like, "Bro, it's a rehearsal. Why am I gonna cover you like in a rehearsal?" Yeah. But I felt something in my heart who told me like, "Go," and I went. They were going to pay me. I just went because he needed me. Yeah. Well, long story short, after finishing the rehearsal, the director called me like, "Hey, are you here to apply for a scholarship?" And I was just like, "No, I'm just here like because I'm covering my friend Chevo." Que le mando un saludo también. And he was like, "Okay, but if I give you like a scholarship, you will be like in the orchestra." And I was just like, "I don't know, like I don't know which like degrees are in the college or whatever." Because that school is one of the most, I think it's the most expensive one in Mexico. So my family didn't have money to pay it. So I never thought like, oh, I'm going to go to that school. I'm going to go and find a like scholarship. So someone came to me and offered me a scholarship to study there.
Look at God.
So,
wow, right?
Yeah. That's something that is like un parteaguas for my life.
For sure. Yes. But let me ask this. So when you were studying, you said you got accepted first when you were 8 years old. How long were you studying that in that school?
So until I was 19 or 20, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I started like literally. I got like a like something good in my life because I never stopped playing at church. Yeah. So from Monday to Friday, I was like with classical music, reading music, all technical things. And from like Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, I was playing at church, improvising, hearing the music, not reading. So I got both schools in my life.
Right.
That's cool. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And I think actually a lot of musicians envy that because the majority of us either do one or the other, right? Where we can read music. And so if we have a music sheet in front of us, we're like, I'm good. I can follow. Yeah. And some of us are like, no, I don't give me that. Just leave me alone and let me improvise on the spot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when you have both of those, it's just a real strong advantage for you because you have the chart and you're very well studied, but at the same time, you understand like the importance of improv, the importance of being able to understand the flow.
And to hear, to follow.
Yes. And dynamics, right? Like a crowd, reading the room, really knowing that. And I feel like that's real big for musicians. I don't know. That's just real huge for me. But as far as like pursuing the passion, right? So you get to be all the way until you're 18, 19 years old. Mm-hmm. Now you've already been studying music for 12 years now, pretty much. Yeah. And what leads you to come to Houston, or why even make that move?
Why even Houston?
Well, that's it's a funny story actually, and I don't have an answer for that because here's the thing, I just felt that I needed to move. So here's the thing. Now I believe in a lot of things because I've been passing through a lot. So, for example, for me, I think when life or God, it doesn't matter how you want to see it, start pushing you to move, I think it's time to go to the next level in your life. So
That's good. That's a good point.
you can decide if you want to go, or you can decide if you want to stay.
Right.
But the life sometimes is gonna give you the chance. So you will think like, okay, how I'm gonna know if it's like, is it?
That's what I was about to ask you. I bet that's scary because I know for all of us, life can throw some curveballs and like you can be given these opportunities, but it's up to us to take the risk and take the opportunities. We never know if it's going to be a good or bad decision, right? But you have to try it. That's how I think. You have to try it. There's no way to know whether it's good or bad until you try it.
But also, it's like sometimes it's hard because
for sure,
those times are not gonna be easy. So, for example, for me, when I was like in the bad times, I was thinking like, maybe it's just me like trying to do this, and maybe this is not the place that I belong.
Maybe
you know?
I'm trying to force it.
Exactly. So for me, the key is like, for example, when I moved to Houston, at the beginning it was just like a thought. So I was just like, oh, I need to move. Like, I feel like I need to move.
So it wasn't even Houston. It was just like, I just need to move.
I just need
somewhere.
to move from Monterrey. So one day I was like in a house of a friend, and he was kind of like tipsy.
Oh, okay.
And he looked at me. He was like, what are you going to do for a living? And I was just like, I don't know, being a drummer, producer, recording, whatever. He was like, okay, tell me someone that does the same thing that you want to do, that is older than you. And I said like 3 or 4 names. He was like, okay, how much do they are making? And I said, not enough. And he said like, okay, if you stay here in Monterrey, like that's the money that you're gonna make.
Wow.
And that like exploded my mind.
You were like, this is not gonna work at all. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So
those are dogs.
I was just like, what is that?
I don't have dogs here, guys. I don't. I promise that.
Hold on.
I'm really proud of you. You're not pushing it every minute.
No, of course not.
Thank you, Omar.
Oh, look at him.
Wow.
Okay, now we're
They
clear, ladies
stopped.
and gentlemen.
We interrupt this program for dog barking. For all you ASMR fans, what the
Wow.
Dog barking?
what the with the beard. But anyways, go ahead, continue, brother.
So he told me that, and I never said anything to him.
Right.
I never said like, hey, I'm like thinking and moving. So for me, it was just like, okay, I think God is telling me something.
Confirmation type vibe, right?
Right.
So it's like that's not a casualty. So
Right.
My dad asked me like, okay, you're gonna move where? And I was just like, Houston. And he was like, why? And I was just like, I don't know. Like, yeah, but you know someone there? Or I was like, no, I don't know. Where are you gonna stay? I don't know. So my dad he remembered that we got like I got like a great aunt, una tía abuela, living here, and she don't have kids. So he called her like, hey, my son, he wanna go to Houston. Does he can stay with you? And she was like, yeah, of course. So like first, my thought like that I wanted to move.
Right.
Second thing, the guy who told me that, and the third thing, I got like a tia abuela who was like prepared to
Already welcoming you.
Yeah, so for me it was just like, okay, I'm gonna do
This
it.
is way easier than I thought. Yeah.
Right. It looks like this is the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember I was eating with my mom, and I bought the flight in front of her, and I was just like, I can't believe I did that. Like, I don't know how it's going to be, and let's see.
do it,
So I took the flight, and I remember I cried a lot on the flight, and I was just like
the
nervous.
nervousness? Yeah.
Yes, because like you don't know what's going to happen,
unknown, bro. You only know one person,
Right.
You know?
Like how
And it's not like
This is
it's not like
amazing.
it's not like your great aunt is like a musician herself, and she's like, oh yeah, come on over here, I'll introduce you to
Yeah.
everybody. It's
No,
just like,
No, you totally came not knowing anyone or anything.
Yeah.
That is mind blowing.
Yeah, it was. I think I never thought about it because I think if I should have done that, like,
Right.
I would be like super scared, like, oh my god, but what? I just like thought like, okay, I need to buy the flight, I need to leave and whatever. So I did it, and I remember I sit in my great aunt's bed, and I was just like, what did I do?
Oh,
Like, what am I gonna
Reality
do now?
sets in.
Right, right.
You're like, now where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm very, like, I can be quiet. Like, I need to move. I can stay. Like, I need to move. I need to find solutions to all the things. So I remember that I got Mike Zuniga on Instagram.
Okay.
So I sent a message, and I went to his church. And we talked, and he's super nice.
Shout out, Mike.
And then I was just looking for a church like to stay, and I remember I was in Walmart, and I remember Roberto Martinez, which is the MD of Inspired Church.
Yes.
So the funny story with Robert, I'm gonna try to make it super short. I met Robert, and me and my dad, we met Robert 10 years ago. Well, 11 years now.
Whoa.
He was the MD of Lily Goodman.
That's right.
And some friend of my dad called to my dad because they need a driver because the driver canceled at the last minute. So my dad said like, yeah, I can be the driver of the musicians. So my dad told me like, hey, do you want to go like and pick up the musicians with me? And I was like, yeah, of course. I was 14 in that time, and I was going to meet like professional musicians like with a very big, huge artist, which is Lily Goodman. So I was like, yeah, I'm going with you. So I went and I met Chris Houghton, which is the bass player of
Yes,
Inspired.
our bass player.
Yeah, and Roberto Martinez. So Roberto talked more with my dad. I talked more with Chris because Chris is more like extrovert. Robert is more introvert. So after 2-3 days, I remember we were in the sound check, and I saw them play, and I was just like, I don't know, it was a lot. I never saw like that kind of professionality in a musician. So I remember I told Robert like, hey Robert, someday you and I were gonna play together.
That's right.
And Robert said like, yeah, of course, someday we're gonna do it. That was it. He shared his phone number with me and Facebook, and I never called him again. We never talked. We never
like y'all didn't keep up with each other.
No, never. Like, hey, how'd you be? Nothing.
He just left.
I don't know why. When I was in Walmart, I just remember Robert, and I thought like, okay, I think I got his phone number, and I checked in Facebook messages 2012.
Alan, how did you remember his name? Because you're talking years.
He's like, it
and
just
you've
came.
never spoke to him.
I didn't know he was living in Houston. It was just like a feeling. Like I think he lives in Houston.
Wow.
But I wasn't sure.
I barely remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. That's the first
That's
thing
what
I would
I'm
say.
saying.
That's crazy.
Not only did he remember him, but he's like, I think he's from Houston, so
We'll see what happens. Let me just.
So here's
right.
here's the thing. I saw the phone number and I prayed before calling him, and I just said like, God, if this is it, just like open the doors for me. And I called him like, Robert. You're like, yeah, and I said, I am Alan Lopez from Monterrey. I don't know if you remember me. He was like, Hermanito, yeah, and I was just like,
Wow.
oh my God.
You're like, somebody knows me. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. He's like, hey, are you in Houston? I was like, yeah, I'm in Houston. They're like, oh, let's go eat or something. He was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I got a rehearsal of the worship team of my church, and I was just like, okay. And he was like, what are you gonna do today? And I was like, no, I'm free. He was like, why do you don't come to the rehearsal? And I was just like, okay. So I went to Inspire for the first time, and in the moment that I put like a step on the church, I felt that was a place I was going to stay.
Yes.
I felt peace.
That's good.
So literally, I walked in and I saw the whole band. I remember Jesse was on the bass, Kelton on the drums, Paulie on the guitar, Carissa was singing. Charles was sitting there, just like
Yeah.
Charles is always sitting there.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Even in the Spanish service,
yeah.
Charles chills. You're going to meet Charles next month, guys.
Yeah, Charles is amazing.
Yeah, great.
And and I saw Robert, and Robert told me he stopped the rehearsal. He came to me like, "Hey, you are super like oh," and then he hugged me or whatever, and he said like, "Okay, sit there. I'm gonna finish the rehearsal, and then we're gonna talk." And I was just sitting there, and I saw like all of them playing amazing. I admire all like the musicians in Inspired Church. They're amazing. So he finished the rehearsal, and I don't remember. I think at the end I play a song. He invited me to play, and Kelton was like, "Yeah, play," and I play a little bit there. It was amazing. I was super nervous because we don't have. First of all, well, Inspire had a very good quality of instruments and screens and everything, and like the worship team was amazing. So I was like super nervous, but everything was okay. And after that, we talked, Robert and I, and he was like, "Bro, whatever you need, I got you. If you want to start playing here in Inspire, you can start playing in Inspire." So I started playing with the youth team, and I think 1 month later, Kelton couldn't play, so they called me to play. And I played, and everyone was just like, "Who's this guy?" And the Spanish pastor saw me, and he asked me to play. I remember the 2 weeks per month, but it was super fast because I never thought I was going to play like that fast in Inspire. Yeah. Right. But everything started in the youth team. Mm-hmm. So
people don't understand. You gotta start at the bottom.
You gotta start at the bottom sometimes. You know, work your way up.
Work your way up the ladder.
Yeah, because you never know from where it's gonna come.
Where it's gonna lead to. Exactly. Where yeah.
So I believe a lot in Efecto Mariposa, butterfly effect. I don't know if
the butterfly effect.
Yeah, like one thing, like what's como suceso.
Yeah, one phase will lead to the next phase.
Yeah, to the next one. It's just like a small thing, but if you were doing that thing, you weren't going to the next
thing.
Yeah. So for example, the thing with my dad and Robert, like.
What are the odds, right? Like,
exactly. He easily could say like, "No, I can be the one who's gonna pick the musicians, and that's it." So I don't know if I were here like today. You know what I mean? So
from meeting the musicians.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like how I came to Houston, but how I went with La Mafia. I'm gonna do the story very short because it's long. But everything started because I went to a guitar center.
What?
Yeah.
Guitar Center, man.
Yeah, so
a lot of stories start off at Guitar Center.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Freaking Guitar Center, bro.
It connects the world.
We need a sponsor of Guitar Center.
Mm-hmm. Send us a sponsor, please.
So I went to Guitar Center, and I went very like direct with the guy. It was an old man, like 60s, and I was like, "Okay, I want this cymbal, this size, this brand." Like I didn't hesitate.
Mm-hmm. You already knew what you wanted.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, we got it here, but who are you?" And I was just like, "Alan Lopez, nice to meet you." Like he was like, "Yeah, but who? Yeah, like you play for someone famous or whatever." And I was just like, "I play in Inspired Church."
Yes, Inspired Church.
That's as famous as I get.
But he was like,
right now.
Check out the Facebook stream. You know?
Every Sunday. This Sunday I'll be playing. So he's like, "Yeah, but you were so sure about the thing that you wanted." And I was just like, "Yeah, because I saw it on the internet." And he was like, "Okay, yeah." And he told me, "I used to be the drummer of La Mafia in the 90s.
Whoa.
Man. He's Michael Aguilar. Saludos. And I was just like, "Okay." We talked a little bit, and after that, he invited me to a jam. Well, it was a gig that he had.
Okay.
But he was like, people go and jam, and so you can come and you can meet more people, because he asked me like from where I was coming from. So I said from Monterrey. I didn't know a lot of people, whatever. So I went to the bar, and being honest, I wasn't going to go, but I felt something that told me like, you need to go, and I went. There I met Jose Luis Villarreal, which is like a very sick bass player from Houston.
Amazing bass player.
He born in Monterrey, but he lives here in Houston. Mm-hmm. And I start talking with him. He asked me to go and play a song. He saw me playing. He was like, "Hey, you play good, and you look like a very cool guy. And I'm gonna do something that never someone thought
I've never done before."
Yeah, for me, it's like support me. And he offered me job.
What?
As like roadie, like cables, putting sound, everything. And as
Jose Luis owns like his own company, and he's got his own sound system. I know he's contracted like with the Houston Astros. Anytime they have an event, he's the guy running sound for them. So he's got a good business going, and so he had hired Alan to just start working with him.
Yeah, so it was super fun because I just started like engineer in Mexico, so I got like a status.
Oh.
And when I started to like just carrying the sound and putting the sound, at the beginning it like I felt it in my ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, why I'm doing this? Like I'm an engineer. But I think that was a good thing because the life was preparing me for the things that
The next phase, right?
The next phase. So okay, that was in November 2021. In February, he invited me to a bar because he was going to play. And I thought like, oh, he's inviting me to go and literally play with him. He was like, no, just to see me play. And I was just like, but why though? Like, I see you every weekend. We work together. But for some reason, I wasn't going to go, but I went.
Again, it happened.
I felt something. There, I met the keyboard player of La Mafia, David Aguilar, a quien le mando un saludo. And Jose Luis asked us to play a song. We played La Planta in the jam.
Yeah.
So after we finished, I said to David like, "Hey, you play amazing because he's very good." He was like, "Oh, you're good too." That was it. And I said like, "Can you give me your Instagram just to be in touch or whatever?" And 4 or 5 months later, I received a DM asking me to do an audition for La Mafia.
Crazy.
Out of nowhere, just random.
Just random. And in that moment, it was my toughest, like the most
Toughest season.
Yeah, season.
Like you're saying for yourself, you were at a point where you were like,
I was almost this close to quit and come back to Monterrey.
to go back home.
Woo-hoo.
Look at God.
So yeah, that's the story how I finished with La Mafia.
How so though? Well, you're saying like you felt like, man, I was getting closer and closer to just wanting to quit. Like, what was like leading you to just want to quit?
To don't quit?
No, to quit.
Right.
Because you were
In other
saying that
words-
at that moment you felt like you were ready to quit. Like you were like, man, this is just not working out here. What was leading you to feel that way?
Because I didn't have money. I wasn't feel like... Because, of course, there's another culture here. Like, American culture is not the same, the American culture. Mm-hmm. So, I was feeling the loneliness. I didn't have friends. I was struggling with the language. It was a lot of things at the same time that it was like... Okay, for me, the things that are important in my life is like... money is important because you need it. Family, friends, love... and feel that you are professionally realizado, como you feel.
Oh yeah. You're like growing into what you're meant to be.
I didn't have anything of those, so it was like, what I'm doing here.
Right.
Yeah, I need to come back. Like, so maybe this is not the spot where I need to be. But also at the time, I was asking for like some signals from God or life, like because I remember one day I was crying and I said like, God, I can handle it. Like, if you ask me to handle it and you said, like, you need to wait 3 more years or 10 more years, but I'm in the right spot, I'm willing to wait.
Yeah.
But just let me know that this is the place that I need to be.
Right.
And that was when I turned 25, I remember. It was March 6th, I think. And Marcus Witt was at the church. Oh, yeah. And he saw me play, and he said, like, hey, you play very good. And for me, that was the signal that I was asking for.
Okay.
So these little signals that life or God, how do you want to see it, is giving you, that makes you feel more like, okay, I'm in the right spot. Right. I need to keep working in my things.
I need to stay focused and not let what's going on around me bring me down. I'm glad he asked that question. That's a great question because I think a lot of us go through moments or seasons like so, and we think, you know what, this ain't it. I made a mistake. This isn't it. But the reality is, it is it. It is the season. You're going the right way, but you just gotta just keep marching. Just keep going forward. Just because things aren't going right for you doesn't mean that you're in the wrong place. No.
Yeah.
I mean, life is not easy. It's not, things are not going to be dropped in your lap per se.
Here's the thing. For any good transformation, you need to suffer.
Ooh, that's good.
Because they're going to transform you literally. So they're preparing you for the next step.
That's right.
So, for example, in that time, I never had to pass through a that kind of tough moment. You know what I mean? But now that I passed through those moments and I know like what was the result of that, now if I pass through a very tough moment, I'm happy.
That's good.
And of course, I'm
it
gonna
almost
be
excite you. You're like, all right,
exactly.
I'm going the right way.
Where am I going to from here?
Yeah, exactly. So my
sure.
work is like, okay, I need to identify if it's like if I'm going to the next level in this part of my life.
Right.
So if I identify that I'm going to the next level, I turn happy and I'm like, okay, I need to work. And in which things do I need to work to make it go faster? You know what I mean?
And that's a really good perspective, because I think a lot of times the reason why people fall off is because their perspective is just like, well, I've been doing this for 1 year and I haven't gotten a result. Where we know that there's people that are pursuing their careers for 10 years and they haven't gotten their result.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're also too busy comparing themselves to where someone else is at, right? So like you start focusing on, I'm pursuing my career, but then I see this guy who just came 2 years after me and he's already way ahead of me. And it's like, well, you're getting blindsided, right? You're so focused on the other person that you're not enjoying your process, your journey, your phases that you're going through to continue to develop.
I saw something, I think Brian Preston was the one who was talking about that, but he was like saying something about like how actors go to LA just to try it, and they say like 1-2 years and then they quit because it's super hard, like being in that industry. He was saying like, my first big role, I had it when I was like 40 in Malcolm in the Middle. Mm-hmm. And my biggest role in my life, I got it when I was, I think, 50 something or 60 in Breaking Bad. Yeah. So for me, it's like when people want to quit after 1 or 2 years, they didn't do enough.
I've even heard like Samuel L. Jackson didn't start doing his acting career until like his 40s. Yeah. You know, I also heard, what is his name? My mind went blank. Ain't no sunshine when she's
I know the song, but
Bill Withers didn't release that album until like an older age. Like he didn't get popular until he was an older man, you know, like in his 40s. And so that's gotta be a challenge to really like stay strong mentally and say, okay, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm gonna keep pursuing that passion. I'm gonna keep seeking it, because if I find out a way and it didn't go well for me, then it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not gonna make it. Instead, it's just I found out how I'm not supposed to make it.
Yeah.
Let me try something different. Let me change the approach. Let me change the strategy to actually reach that.
And the mindset for me is one of the most important things. Of course, actions, but mindset. Oh, yeah. Because literally, you can like how people say like the glass like half full, half empty. Yeah. It's like that's super true. And in my life, it's a thing. I go to therapy, and I love going to therapy because I learn a lot about me and myself. But I've been seeing how sometimes I'm like, no, this is super bad, or whatever, and my therapist is like, yeah, but you're not seeing the other side of the things. Mm-hmm. So when she explained all the other side for me, like, and it's the same thing. Nothing changed more than my mindset, and it makes the whole difference. Yes. And that's amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you change your mindset, you can hit levels you really don't think you can.
Yeah. Even everything is in your mind. Oh, everything. Like you can be alone and say like, oh, I'm super alone. Or you can be alone like, oh, enjoy this time like alone.
It's so peaceful to just be able to gather my thoughts being by myself.
Or I'm alone. Okay, I got the opportunity to go and meet people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know?
Right.
So it's everything on your mind.
Yeah. So now that you've moved into this opportunity of working with La Mafia, how was that? I mean, you said it's been a year now, but time has gone by really fast for you. But how has that changed your mindset as far as the because you know this is something that also happens to a lot of people, right? Once they actually have reached, let's just say like an achievement, right, or something they actually want to reach, how do you not get comfortable? How are you still like, okay, now what? Because I know that you and I have had these conversations about pursuing your passion, right? Like obviously you do more than drumming, right? Engineer, do some songwriting and stuff like that. But how is it that you've continued to stay in that same concept, that same mindset of saying, okay, yeah, I reached this, but now I'm looking for something else?
I never go satisfied. Never. Like, always, like, of course, it's a good thing, but also it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Because...
a blessing and a curse is what we say.
Yes.
For sure.
Here's the thing, because sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I did it. And that is going to stay for like 10 seconds, and then like, okay, I need to do something else.
What's next? What are we gonna do?
Which is very helpful because you advance us You go
you
forward.
keep moving forward, right?
Very fast,
Yeah.
but at the same time you enjoy the things because you're already thinking in the future. You know what I mean? So in my case, for example, now that I'm with the Mafia, I'm thinking to release my own project. Like no quitting La Mafia, of course not, but releasing my own songs. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but now I got the time to do those kind of things. I got the resources to do it. I got the friends to do it. Actually, you and I, we are recording the songs.
Writing some songs together.
So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I don't know for what. I don't know if it's gonna work. Of course, it's gonna work because you're like,
it's gonna work.
it's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work.
I gotta put it out there.
It's so fast. It's so fast. It's gonna work.
Yeah, but I don't know. My dad is like that. My dad, all my family is like they finish a project and they are thinking already in the next one. So
right,
that's a good thing.
for sure. And I think that's so important because a lot of times you run into people that have reached an accomplishment and it's a comfort level, right? You're like, oh hey, I mean, there could have been a drummer that showed up to a church and said, oh look, I'm now at the church. I made it in life. I'm done. And there's nothing wrong with that. If they're happy, hey, there's more power to them. But then there's still that itch of like, all right, now what's next, right? I've heard this saying that I think I've seen it like on Instagram or like on just different social medias where the guy's like, the top of a mountain is the bottom of the next.
Yes.
So keep climbing, you know. And I think that's something that I really wanted to make sure I like brought up because when I saw it, I was like, ooh, for when we talk about pursuing your passion, that's something I want to bring up because people do get caught up in the comfortness and they stop climbing, right?
Yeah.
And it almost sucks because whenever I meet people and I'm like, man, that's so cool that they're doing whatever that passion is, whether they're a chef, whether they're an artist, whether they're a songwriter, photographer, videographer, entrepreneur, and then you run into them like a couple years later, a couple months, and you're like, hey, how's everything going with the business? And like, oh, well, no, you know, I got kind of tired, I got busy, I had to get a job, and it's like, man, it does suck. But what happened to that passion, right? How do you keep that passion fueled? And I think that's a big concern that I want to make sure before we wrap up this podcast that you can share that with them. Like, what was it for you that continues to fuel that drive?
Discipline. Discipline is everything. Like, for me, I exercise a lot. And here's the thing.
Do you, though?
I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
This is
We're almost wanted him to bring out the gun.
I'm like,
Flex.
this is kind of oversized. This is kind of oversized. Anyways,
he's like, just make it out a little more on the
I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Turn up 6 off his shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's getting hot in here.
No, so here's the thing. For me, exercise, yeah, it makes me feel good, but it's more about the mental thing. Because, okay, spoiler alert, it never going to stop to hurt.
Right.
Because people say like, no, after 3 months, like, you're going to be used to do it and it's not going to hurt anymore. No, it's always going to hurt. Why? Because you need to put more weight on it. If you want to...
Climbing.
Exactly. So sometimes you are doing 10 reps, then say like, no, give me 12. So those 2 reps are gonna hurt like the worst,
Right.
but mentally it's gonna like develop an area of your life where you can go more. Even when you say like, I can do no more, no, you can't. But you just need to desbloquear, unblock that area of your mind that you can do it. So, for example, in my case, when I was putting the sound with Jose Luis, I was sleeping at 2-3 a.m. because, or even like later, because the time of the shows, they're finishing very late.
They end that too, and then you still have to clean up and put everything up.
And next day, I need to be at church playing. So I was sleeping 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours.
You were taking naps. That's what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Full blown sleeps after church.
Yeah, of course.
You
I know the life. I know the life.
Yeah.
But it's discipline. Like, sometimes I don't want to do something and I just like, no, I need to do it. For example, with the gym, you have to put in a balance. If you skip 2 weeks of going to the gym and then you want to come back, it's going to hurt a lot. So it's going to be harder and maybe you're going to quit. So that makes you human because of course it's going to be super hard. You need to be more strong mentally to come back to the gym. But for example, if you miss 2-3 days and you are super tired because you have been working a lot, but you got 2 hours free, and you say like, oh, I want to sleep because I'm super tired, but
It's been 2 days already. I need to.
Yeah, so you drink coffee, you go to the gym, and you got more time to.
Right.
So you're like saving time with discipline. So for me, discipline is everything. Do the things that you want to when you don't want to.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for
sure.
Consistency.
That's really good. Yeah.
Well, I think for us to start wrapping up this podcast, I just wanted to see if anybody else wants to add as far as what Adam already just shared with us as far as discipline. Is there anybody else that has just something that you want to share with the audience that are listening to us about pursuing their passions today?
You got it.
Keep climbing. That's it. That was mine.
Yeah.
Discipline for sure.
When you say you're tired, you're not tired. I've been telling myself that a lot recently. I'll say that. I got like 2 more edits in me. I can do it.
My dad had a phrase, I'm going to say it in Spanish, trabajar para descansar.
Ooh,
that's good.
Work so you can rest.
Right.
Yeah.
Work now so you can rest later, as compared to resting now so you have to work later.
Right. I when I was a kid, there was I had a youth guy that was like a youth leader, and I wasn't going to church at the time. He was trying to get me to go to church, and he knew I was kind of a little knucklehead, and so I was wilding out, and he was just like, "Can I tell you something, man? I hope you remember this." And honestly, I still remember it to this day because I was like 14. I was like, "Yeah, hurry up, I gotta go." And he's like, "I need to share with you." He's like, "The easy life is hard, and the hard life is easy." And I was just like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Just think about it. The easy life. You don't want to go to school, don't go to school. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to do that. You want to hang out, play video games all day, just be a bum. That's the easy life. It feels good, but man, is it going to be hard." Mm-hmm. And the hard life, waking up early, sacrificing, seeking whatever it is that you're trying to reach, right? Like pursuing that passion, like that's the hard life. It's not easy for you to constantly be disciplined enough to just keep on climbing, keep reaching out for it. But when you do get there, it's worth that sacrifice.
I got a phrase that I saw on TikTok. It's like, be 300 pounds is hard. Do a lot of exercise is hard. Choose your hard.
Yeah.
Choose your hard.
Being a toxic marriage is hard.
Right.
Being divorced is hard. Choose your
It's
hard.
hard.
So everything in life is gonna be hard, but you need to choose
your hard.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today for our 3rd episode. Thank you so much, Alan, for coming in and sharing
guys.
us your
That was
story.
great.
We definitely had a great time.
Yeah.
And that's it for today. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you let us know in the comments. As a matter of fact, you know what? Before we get it off, Alan, why don't you tell them your social media pages? Where can they find you at in case they want to find you?
So, Alan Lopez, 5B, it's in Spanish, ALANLOPEZ, 5B, in all social media.
And for music, it's 5 Flat, right?